The part 4 to the broken world, other parts down below. I had already heard about the teacher from Jay. I'm well aware that she will have men chasing her. She is very pretty and, cheating aside, a fun person to be around. I think the rumors she was referring to was that this teacher was the reason we separated and he is her second affair, which is not true, but it's not my concern. It bothers me some, but it's not my concern. She never exhibited any insecurities, but she had gained a little weight prior to joining the gym, and had expressed some insecurities about her looks around that time, which was the first time I had ever heard her say anything remotely that could be considered insecure. If I had to bet, I think she really wants to apologize, but after I told her we had been out a couple of times, well, I think there may be more to it. She got her wish. OBS going to meet with her. I can't wait to get that update from OBS. Jay's wife has gone nuclear on him and they haven't home separated. She's blaming him and his family for never liking him. He's wanting reconciliation. She wants divorce one day, then offers are the next when he agreed to a D. It's a mental stew. And FYI, the graphic intimate dreams are a B. I am obviously awake in the middle of the night because of them. Are these normal? They are of my STBX. Not her and a P, just the STBX. I'm guessing they are from spending time with her yesterday and my own lack of physical intimacy in the past month. Just to ease everyone's mind, I'm not interested in the casual bonding thing. I wasn't when I was younger and I'm not now. I get it, believe me, but I'm not built that way. Jay is just confused right now. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body but is built like an NFL linebacker. Guy is what best is described as a good man. Quick update. OBS spoke to STBX and they agreed to meet tomorrow after STBX gets off of work at a local park. OBS says she wants to see for herself if STBX is really sorry or going through the motion. Honestly, this might be the best thing for the STBX. OBS is pretty intuitive. She has spoken about how she was blinded by all of her business success later in life and ignored the red flags and danger of her ex because she was looking for essentially a boy toy type. Trophy husband, so to speak. Other than that, her intuition had served her well. Other than that, I don't have any idea. Maybe she has other motives. I don't know. STBX asked for it to apologize. Anything other than that, I have no idea. I doubt revenge is a factor. OBS is pretty much over her ex. I think any residue effects, feelings are extremely negative. She's out of a crappy marriage and did not get caught up in any of the criminal stuff. But whatever OBS, has said very little about why this meeting. We talked last night for about an hour and other than her telling me when she initially called, nothing else was said about it. I am not going to try to guess OBS motives because she has said very little about it. And I think it's possible the attraction I feel for her may be different than what she may or may not feel toward me. Because of that, I think I personally am in no hurry to pursue that path yet. STBX has stated her reasons, but I'm not naive enough to think that she does not have an ulterior motive. It bothered her that we, OBS and me, have had contact in person. Now is that because she's afraid a relationship might be blossoming, or is she upset at what might have been said about her? Who knows? On the trophy husband thing. OBS was pregnant at 16 with first child. By 21 she had 3 kids and a husband that was barely making a living. She eventually worked minimum wage jobs until landing a job with an older couple that owned a real estate business. 1 year later, when she was 30, her husband up and left. She eventually got her license and became financially stable enough to get her own life in order. The older couple were looking to retire, so she started her own agency. It's successful, and after kids moved out and about 10 years of not really having any relationships to speak of, she became, in her words, a little catty and slept around. Eventually she met this guy. He was 10 years younger, well-built and looked good, and she wound up marrying him. The rest is history. I have not read into her story anything other than what she has told me. A hard life, worked harder, financially successful, went to an extreme on finding a partner, got burned, learned from it. Hopefully that explains more about describing OM as a trophy husband. My feelings about OBS are more complicated than I want to admit. She is older than me by about 14 years, intelligent and quick-witted with a very natural southern charm. It's easy to be caught off guard by her intelligence because you're too busy smiling, because she has an infectious personality and is always smiling. Very self-confident. She also has taken well care of herself physically. My STBX is very much the same person. Intelligent, very much a glass half full person. Beautiful and naturally empathetic. She also has a unique way of getting angry that I always thought was just the most hilarious thing. She breathes heavy. Her mouth gets tight and you can literally hear her breathe heavy. Never yells. I always laughed when she got mad. You just have to see it. Anyway, OBS and STBX exhibit a lot of the same personal traits as well as physical. They are built physically similar. OBS and I share the same trauma as BS's. There are other things as well, but my point is, I'm struggling with whether or not my infatuation is genuine or is it just shared misery. Am I looking at her as a substitute for what I thought my STBX was? Am I really attracted to her because of her? Is this some sort of slow-motion revenge against my STBX? Just some of what I'm struggling with. Their meeting lasted about an hour and a half. OBS described it as uneasy at first but by the end calm. I can't really give a blow-by-blow so to speak, so I'll try to give the best synopsis I can using your question, my question, and others. Was it confrontational? No, OBS was not looking for that, so was very attuned to that and did not go into it as a hostile situation, though she admitted that she had thought about it in the past. Did STBX apologize? Yes, OBS said STBX appeared very genuine and sincere and embarrassed. There were of course tears, but OBS said she felt like there was actual regret and shame, and that set the tone for the rest of the meeting. Did OBS give her a piece of her mind or get angry with her? Sort of. OBS laid out a timeline on what she knew about STBX and OM's, as well as OM's other women. OBS told her that the pain she caused me was unforgivable in a lot of ways. Then this little nugget. Up until a few weeks ago, you and VR were just names on paper and pictures of an idiot walking out of a hotel room with another idiot. Since then, VR has become a good friend and you, one of the dumbest people I have ever met. All because of what? A muscled-up body and little X. Why? Not the first remark about his manhood I have heard. I know that is childish, but hey, it makes me laugh. Lord knows I need one. She also drilled this visual into my STBX's head. Right now, I can all but guarantee you he has photos and videos of the two of you sleeping together. And if he can't sleep together on any given day, he uses those or ones from other women to masturbate to because he has a ridiculously high drive. Now remember that every time you feel the need to blame someone other than yourself for all of this. In her own way, OBS is, I believe, practicing some tough love in these remarks. She described that part of the meeting as treating STBX like one of her own kids. Did STBX ask about OBS' intention towards me, our relationship? Yes, she did. She asked if we had been sleeping together, and OBS' initial response was, why would that concern you? STBX, because I love him and I'm afraid he'll move on and not try to OBS responded by pointing out the hypocrisy of STBX and asking her why should I or OBS care what she thinks or how she feels. STBX had no answer. After some, as OBS put it, light berating, she informed STBX that no, we were not sleeping together. OBS described herself as a friend with shared trauma. Did STBX explain why she did it, and what did OBS think? STBX was very open about not understanding why she did it. She told OBS that she is in IC and hopes it will help understand it and never do it again. They discussed what led up to it, and OBS gave me her opinion later that night. Was the pregnancy brought up? Yes, OBS is of the opinion that I need to be prepared to be a father. She absolutely believes STBX is pregnant and believes it's mine without a doubt. OBS does not think STBX has been with anyone but me since that's based on their conversation. There is more, but I cannot really remember it all right now. I am working on very little sleep. If you have questions about the meeting, I'll try to answer them or get an answer. I think by her nature, OBS made the meeting a lot more productive than vindictive, and I am glad of that. I am not out of love with my STBX, and I still hurt to see her go through painful things even though she has caused me a lot of pain. After the meeting, OBS called me and asked to stop by my house. We discussed the meeting and she gave me her opinion on what she believes happened regarding the She believes it was a perfect storm of insecurity, misunderstanding, peer pressure, BS artist, and timing. Now why STBX ultimately said yes and slept with her husband she has no idea. But she firmly believes all of those factors collided at once and STBX made a very wrong life decision. Our talk also got deep into where we both are currently and how we are feeling about each other. This is the part of the meeting that caused me to post the stuff earlier. She was upfront that when we met that first time, she was physically attracted to me. Afterward, it just got stronger based on our talks and shared experiences. I admitted I was in the same place. We very calmly went over the good and bad about turning our friendship into a physical relationship. And quite frankly, we both think it's a bad idea. For different reasons. I think it is a bad idea because I am unsure of where my attraction for her comes from. As I posted earlier, is it a genuine attraction I have for her as a person, or is it shared misery? Am I seeking revenge on OM and using her? Am I seeking revenge on my STBX? Is it just because I have not slept together for over a month? So, I am concerned by those things and have come to the realization that I am not ready. I would not be a good partner right now and could very well ruin something that down the road might be an amazing thing. OBS has some of the same misgivings. She admitted that while she informed me of the because it was the right thing to do, there was a little hint of revenge against my STBX. That was also something she realized motivated her to meet with OBS. She also feels like there is a chance, a small one, that we might save or at least redefine our marriage. She knows I am against R, but as she puts it, once the baby gets her, those definite thoughts of D are going to get questioned in my mind. She believes it would be smart for me to reevaluate once the baby is born. Look at any progress STBX may have made toward her issues and take into account my own feelings at that point. And if she is at the forefront in my life, then I won't be able to be 100% sure that D is what I want. She also confessed if she thought I could have a physical relationship without the feelings, FWB type arrangement, she would stay that night. But she knows right now I can't do that. She feels that by the end of the year we both will have a clearer picture of our lives without any of this other baggage, and maybe we can revisit our relationship then. So, we are going to be friends. Just friends. We'll support each other. And that's it. FYI, please understand that my mind has not changed. I am getting a divorce. I realize OBS is giving me her opinion and only her opinion and is not pushing to our. She just feels like there is still too much there to be as definitive as I have been about walking away from STBX completely, and she just wants me to make the decision on my own without her clouding up the issue. Now, since I have bored my brother to no end about this stuff all morning, he has decided I need to grab my manhood back and take control. So, we are planning a guy weekend to do guy things. We have a friend that has a lake house and we are planning a weekend of water skiing, fishing, and bullshitting. There is also a car show taking place nearby and we plan to attend that. Thank God quarantine is over. Jay has been kicked out of his house and we are going to invite him too, with the condition neither of us can bring up our marital problems. So far there are 8 of us planning to be there, and I am expecting a lot of testosterone to be flowing all weekend. So, I'm looking forward to it. And on the Jay front, I have refrained from writing too much about his situation for privacy reasons, but his wife has kicked him out. Apparently, her affair is ongoing and he found out about it over the weekend. He also found out she has been taking his kids around the guy, so it's not good. I am guessing his divorce will be ugly and painful. Right now, he just wants to ensure access to his 3 kids on a regular basis. I lived a lie for over a year, and that alone is disturbing, but when that lie is being perpetuated by the one person I should trust implicitly, it has an effect on you. And I am assuming this is the basis for my continued refusal to believe she's pregnant 100%. So, once we go to the doctor, then I am sure these feelings will resolve themselves. Let's face it, I know she's pregnant, but I don't want to believe her. As for the negative views about OBS, I guess I'm not getting across the point that like many she found great success and along the way screwed up. She has learned her lesson about bright shiny things and knows that with her business success comes a lot more personal responsibility. I think this a very common tale. As for the age difference, I just haven't given it a thought. Seriously, it never entered my mind. About the truth, I don't know. Maybe it would help the healing process. I don't know. I believe men especially are generally more analytical, and I know I am more than average. Having all the facts, or as many as possible, certainly makes any decisions more accurate in my mind. More of a right answer. But I'll admit there may be a small part that thinks, aha, that explains this, and I can say, well, it wasn't her fault, I can work through this. And of course, the opposite. Something that shuts down the love I still feel for her. I think OBS has been a blessing and a curse depending on whether you believe in R or D, but overall a blessing. If you're in the D camp, she has made me feel like I'm not a throwaway, unwanted, or someone that was not able to satisfy their wife. Alone, things I felt in the first week. In the R camp, she would be seen as almost an emotional mistress, taking the energy and emotions that could be directed toward fixing the marriage and instead sharing them with her. But in my world, she has been a tremendous blessing, helping me navigate through this, not telling me what I want to hear but what I need to hear. A great sounding board on how to handle situations, real or imagined, which has come in handy when I deal with STBX. Couple of quick points and I need a shower. Just got back from running, and it rained. I'm not sure I actually was looking at a long-term thing with OBS. I'm not sure I was doing much thinking at all. I was and still am very much impressed with her. No contact has been really good so far. I have not heard from STBX at all since then, and I firmly believe the no contact has contributed a lot of the clear thinking and self-reflection I have posted today. Speaking of posts today, I'm so happy and encouraged by the back and forth today with everyone. Whether we agreed or not, there was really outstanding give and take today. And I want to let everyone I appreciate the help and the civility. It means a lot. Now, while I was writing the above, my elderly neighbor came out and chastised me for sitting on my steps in wet clothes. Told me to get inside and change and come over to her place and pick up a homemade chocolate pound cake she made for me. So, guess what I'm going to do? I'm getting cleaned up and changed and going to pick up my homemade chocolate pound cake. Thinking about it right now, she really has not had much of a chance to show me other than confessing to my mom and apologizing to OBS. I may need to think on this for a while. I see was just one session. More to help me get on track with some trauma tics that had reemerged. I am sleeping better and they are under control. My counselor has made himself available when and if I need him. Physical exercise has been the best thing I could do. Running seems to get me into a very calm state, especially since I have stopped listening to anything and just concentrate on the run. I am sure I'll reach out again to my therapist again at some point. D with a possible attempt at R afterwards is actually something I might have to look at harder. I am worried though if I did that, I would not be able to give it my full commitment. And that would not be fair to her, myself, or the baby. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud right now, and as of this minute I have not changed my mind about the DR is also not something I have changed my mind on. I don't know, the closer the doctor's appointment gets here, the more twisted up things are getting. I'm not feeling any pressure at all. The question from yesterday has been on my mind because it made me realize something I had not thought of and thus has prompted some thinking on my part. That's it, a quick update. I was working pretty steady yesterday, so I had no chance to respond to everyone, but I want you all to know I have read each post and I really appreciate all of the advice and back and forth. Update 1. I called my attorney yesterday and just got off the phone with her a few minutes ago. I spoke to her about a number of scenarios and their legal repercussions, especially financial. She gave me some off-the-cuff information but will send me a few more details after a little research. I am not changing my mind about anything, just gathering facts. I expect the appointment on May 18th to prompt quite a bit of emotions as well as questions. Questions that will need to be thought through and decided on. Not necessarily then, but pretty quickly. Update 2. I contacted my mother-in-law. I asked her to inform my STBX that I will be away for the weekend, and if there is anything she needs from the home, she can come by at her leisure. I did not want to break no contact for this, so I just decided to call MIL. I also wanted to make sure she was doing okay. MIL was not friendly at all. Very cold and short with me. I decided to get off the phone quickly and let it go. Not my problem. As I say goodbye, she says, "You're a coward." I say, "Excuse me," and then she unloads on me, screaming and yelling and calling me every name in the book. I just let her go. At one point I hear someone ask her who she is yelling at, and MIL says, "Your crappy husband." STBX starts yelling at her mom to stop and tells her to give her the phone. They are going back and forth and I just hang up. My phone has been ringing and the text messages have been going off all morning. So much for no contact. I'm just not going to respond. I have never heard mother-in-law act that way, ever. So, I guess I'm the bad guy now. I really don't care what she did. Why she lashed out is her issue. What bothers me is this increases the feeling of being shoved in a room and the door locked behind me and now has shrunk to the size of a box. This whole thing is suffocating me and her pressure is changing me in ways I don't like. Changes that I hope aren't permanent. I'll have a mom-in-law update later today after I get home. We're packing up and cleaning the place, so we'll be leaving soon. I had a great time and really enjoyed getting away with the guys. With the appointment Tuesday morning and having to talk to my STBX tomorrow evening, as we previously planned to do, it really got my head cleared. I do not want to be married to her. I don't want that connection legally nor spiritually. But I need to be in a position to be able to co-parent and be around her without the tension and any animosity being noticeable, especially as the child grows. And I can't do that hiding behind no contact forever. There has to be contact. I plan on looking into co-parenting classes for divorced parents, something my lawyer and therapist suggested. And honestly, not to sound shallow, it's a good way to show a judge that I'm not just running from my responsibility and I'm wanting to try to raise the child. It can't hurt in my custody hearings. Mother-in-law update. I received an email about 10 p.m. Friday evening from her. I did not read it until this morning. She is clearly distraught and apologetic in the email. Apparently, she and STBX have been fighting over what she did and how we are not talking right now. STBX has taken the stance that I am basically calling the shots right now, and if I want no contact, then STBX will abide by my wishes. MIL feels she should be actively fighting to fix what STBX has broken. STBX says she is by doing what I ask. And yes, they got into a real big fight when she heard her mother talking to me. Bad enough that STBX is now looking for a place to stay other than her mother's. She's at a loss at how to help her daughter and how to help me. Earlier that day she had a similar blow-up at STBX, and she's worried about the baby and what kind of life it will have. And she's afraid now she has pushed me even further away. I don't doubt her sincerity, and I am sure she has a lot of pain herself. She is going through a lot, and I can't really hold it against her for losing control this one time. As for calling me a coward, she was upfront that she felt that the two of us were not communicating but hiding from each other. But she realizes that we need to do this our way and that she needs to get a handle on her emotions. That's it. I did not respond, but I'll speak to STBX tomorrow about it and go from there. My gut tells me no. Her goal is I have no doubt about that. Her mother's email revealed a number of things that in my opinion verified not only her hope of but that she is actively receiving help to understand what is needed to work toward at 4 a.m. I woke up and my mind was filled with doubts, fear, anger, and yes, shame. All those things that comes with finding out the woman you have chosen to spend your life with and hope to wake up every morning and hold beside you are not enough. There is something or someone better out there. Here is what you do. Get up. Get a little angry. Not furious, just a little angry. Like you do when someone tells you can't do something but you know you can. Get a little angry, then get up and do something physical to exhaustion. In my case, I ran. When I got him, I made myself take a shower before I collapsed into a chair to rest. And after I got a little rest, I drank a smoothie for breakfast, and I'm now working with a clear head, a tired body, and very strong sense of determination. Just a small pushback on this, but otherwise a solid post. She did not push me to have a child. We had discussed children in the past, and when we did agree, it was for solid reasons. We were both of an age it felt right. She had job security with great insurance. I was moving from working for someone to freelance to the new business, and the new business was now thriving. Now that's not to say she did not mislead me in the sense of not telling me about the affair, because I would definitely have not been trying for a child had I known. And had I had known about the affair and she was not pregnant, then the path forward would be clearer. Point taken. Just slight clarification. I met her outside and spoke to her while she stood on the walkway and I sat on the steps. I told her it shouldn't take long, so go ahead. We verified the time. I told her to come here and we would ride together. No need in two vehicles going. She asked me if I still wanted to get a paternity test and I said yes. She pulled a paper out and told me she found a place that does the blood test and that she will pay to have it done since it's not covered by insurance. She will have to be at least 8 weeks pregnant for it to be effective. So is going to discuss it with her doctor tomorrow to get her opinion on when it should be done to make sure we get an accurate result. This surprised me, but I'm glad she took the initiative to do it. She apologized for her mother and went into further details on what had been going on all that week. It's settled down, but she is looking for another place to stay because it's not, in her opinion, a good place right now. Her mother is basically having a nervous breakdown over worrying about her, me, and the baby. I told I would send her a response to her email and let her know everything is okay and I'm not angry at her. And folks, I have no doubt this woman is having a hard time with this. Her letter made a big impact on me as far as her feelings toward me. She stated she had an interview Thursday for an admin job in the state-level education department. Her second one. It will get her away from Gina's friend that works at the same school. She showed me where someone keyed her car. I told her I would send her the insurance information and she could see about getting it fixed. It's really deep too. Some people never grow up. There was a little more chit-chat but nothing of great interest. Her appointment is at 9 a.m. and she should be here an hour before. She did tell me she took the whole day off. I'm sure that was a hint that we could spend time together if I wanted. That's it. I have no way of knowing what will happen tomorrow. What emotions will be present I can see why that would be a sound plan. My parents are retired, so I'll probably go bug them and of course share the news from the visit. Real quick, because it's been a day of extreme ups and downs. Roughly 6 weeks pregnant. Due around January 8th. Heartbeat was amazing. I can't describe it. Was surprised at how fast it is. We have spent the better part of the day talking. And right now, I'm just exhausted. Mentally and emotionally. She is too. She has gone to Mother's and I have asked her not to contact me until Saturday morning unless something happens. I need a few days to process without her around. Paternity test is scheduled for 2 weeks from today. She scheduled it as soon as we got out of the office. She's either playing a cruel game of chicken or has no doubt it will show me I'm the father. And for complete transparency, we hugged and cried in the doctor's office. But I could not bring myself to repeat it when we were alone. When she tried to hold my hand while we were talking, I would not let her. I'm not sure where I go from here. I have a couple of plans in mind, but I need to think them through, and right now I can't do that. Overall, I am happy about the baby, just not my circumstances. But it is confusing right now and I just need some peace for a while. Some context on the attempted hand-holding today. We had decided to talk about some general logistics going forward now that she's pregnant and we are separated. While I was listening to her lay out an idea on how to handle a particular issue, I was struck by how normal our conversation was in that moment. For a split second she was my wife, the person I lost. I became emotional. That is not normal for me. Tearing up in front of anyone is not normal for me, hearing the baby's first heartbeat not included. And that's what happened. She reached and attempted to hold my hand as a comfort to me. I involuntarily pulled away. So, it's not like she was throwing herself at me. She's aware that I do not want her to touch me, right? And to her credit, she has adhered to that. In fact, I initiated the hug at the doctor. I got feelings. It happens. I've asked and she has agreed to leave me alone for a couple of days to let the emotions settle. Again, to her credit, she has over the last week or two been very good at following my requests. One other thing. The whole R versus D thing is really not on my radar. I'm solid D. By no means does that mean I want the debate to stop. I see both sides more today than I have in the past few weeks. But I have not changed my mind on that. Now, with that said, everyone has to know by now that our court system is no friend to a father when it comes to custody unless the mother does not want the child or she is a danger to the child. I have to take this into consideration. 50/50 custody is highly unlikely for a newborn. I understand that to a point, but I want to be there too. I have been working up a way to keep her at least content while proving to the court that I'm just as good a parent as she is and that I have done everything I can to do what's best for the child. One of these things is shared custody here at my house, with us rotating living here and keeping the child in one home. Another is in-home separation for the first few months after the baby is born. That though has a number of pitfalls, but I have to at least consider it. Maybe a combination of the two. I don't know yet. I will probably start implementing more and more contact slowly to see how comfortable I can be around her. But right now, I have to take her in small doses. Plus, I need to keep the emotional baggage at a minimum to think clearly. I have run these by my attorney as well as other ideas, and she has given me good advice, separating out what can be enforced through the legal end and what can't. The goal here is protect my access to the baby, protect my financial assets, and protect my well-being. It's sad that it's come to that, but I didn't ask for this. I love my wife, not who she used to be. I love her. That's been the most confusing thing about this. I cannot hate her. I cannot get to a point of indifference. I love her. I miss her. I think about her. I worry about her. I love her. I probably always will. But it does not mean I can stay with her. My solid D has nothing to do with pressure from here or anywhere else. I've stated before, I cannot see me being able to commit 100% to R, and that's not fair to her. She may have hurt me, but I don't have to hurt her unnecessarily. I chose to use wife instead of STBX in this post for a reason. It was not a slip-up. I have not seen anything to suggest she would fight me on custody. But then again, I never saw anything to suggest she was capable of infidelity either. My concern stems from the unknown as well as recent research into the subject, as well as my own desire to be as much involved with my child as possible. I am aware people raise children separately and the children are fine. I guess in not getting the point across that I want my fair shot at that too. Just because she's the mother, she's automatically given that advantage. I'm not guaranteed that. I said it like that so everyone gets a glimpse into my head and the turmoil. Some think I'm doing well at this. I'm not. I also said it like this to show the effects of yesterday on me. It's a very confusing thing to have the feelings of love for a person and be afraid. Yes, afraid to care about them. Because at its core that is what this is. Fear of caring and being hurt again. And I also said it because it's true. Do I desire her? On a physical level, sure, it's been a while since I have had any intimacy, so I would classify it more as lust does not desire. And in home separation would most definitely return to physical bonding but not necessarily intimacy. That was one of the pitfalls I alluded to in my previous post. So, no, I don't believe I desire her right now. Distance is the optimal option, but therein lies the problem. There is a time frame here. She is pregnant with our child. I can't experience that at its fullest at a distance. My family can't experience it. The birth and subsequent firsts that will happen. I can't experience them. So, my goal is to minimize that loss as much as possible. So how do I do that? Saying the child will be fine is not an answer. I know the child will be fine. I agree distance will help in the feeling department, but I'm struggling to balance the rest with it. That's all I'm saying. Look, I'm probably overthinking this, but it's my nature to go through things point by point. Weigh the choices and make a plan. Busy day. Lot happening in personal and business life today. I'll be out of touch mostly through tomorrow. My comment, she only ended it in my opinion, because she got an STD and realized Muscle Man was banging other women and not being faithful to her, and the fact that he was likely going behind bars. Let's not give her credit on ending it when she probably doesn't deserve it. Let's see if I can end this in part 5. Comment down what you think so far, and I will get back with the ending.